when I heard the news. I couldn't believe it.
When you get addicted to the wind, basically you find yourself checking the weather.
I see it in things. It's like what it could be.
That'd be nice to let kids go to camp and have fun, even though it costs $2,500.
Those are just a few of the extraordinary people that we'll revisit in this, the 20th edition of the Best of Lance's Journal. I'm Lance Schwartz. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Lexi Tanius of Lincoln has a rare gift. Her ability to move to the music has filled her bedroom with trophies. And back in January of 2010, her dancing skills earned her a trip to Australia to represent the United States in the World Championships.
Ready? Here we go. Music. And go.
In the past 30 years of running her own dance studio, Cheryl Priest-Dickey has seen few dancers like Lexi.
Everything that a teacher wants in a child is all rolled up in that one little person. She is just a dream to teach. Never have to ask her twice. Never.
It's just a lot of fun.
It's very uncommon, but Lexi even makes the older dancers want to be more like her.
Just because she's younger than me, that doesn't mean she can't be an inspiration, because she is for me.
She actually makes me push myself harder because she's so amazing. I want to push myself to that level as well.
It's really nice because I look up to them, and then it's just a great feeling.
Lexi's favorite style of dance is lyrical, and this particular routine earned her gold in Australia.
I love it because it has a story behind it, and I like acting out stories.
As one might imagine, Lexi's parents are some of her biggest fans.
I think she's pretty fantastic, not just as her mom, but also as a dance teacher. Not very many kids have that kind of a drive at such a young age and maturity.
Every time she strikes a lyrical pose and a lyrical number, my eyes fill up with tears of joy and just makes me feel very complete.
At night when I tuck her into bed, I think she knows how proud I am of her.
Since 2010, Lexi has won 3 solo world championships, and this Southwest high school student still has her sights set on one day becoming a background dancer for a big-time pop artist. Well, Sean Kutsia was enjoying the best of both worlds back in January of 2010. The native South African was bringing artifacts back from his homeland and then selling them in Lincoln. High above the intersection at 13th and N in downtown Lincoln, Sean's love of his homeland is ever present.
The Zulu people are from South Africa, indigenous to South Africa, and they use the hand carve this wood. It's called Mziti wood.
Sean came to Lincoln in 2004 to play tennis for the University of Nebraska. His playing career was going well until he got hurt his senior season.
That year was the year which gave me the time and passion to get this up and running. If I wouldn't have had that, I probably wouldn't have been able to do it, you know, so it's sort of a blessing.
Sean realized early on that Nebraskans were fascinated with anything that was authentically African.
I used to bring back artifacts, different little gifts and handcrafted pieces that the local Africans make, and give them to friends of mine, try to get a date with a girl, you know, to bring back a necklace, whatever. And, you know, these pieces really, people really love them.
Sean says the heart and soul of South Africa can be found in all of these arts and crafts, including this dish made out of cow horn and this bowl made out of recycled telephone wire.
Things that we wouldn't think are unique in Africa, people here are absolutely amazed by, you know. So Africa has got an overabundance of arts and crafts because most of the locals there, they don't have, you know, they don't have the business skills.
And that's where Woodsmoke comes in.
We go to the villages, work with them on designs, how to make the stuff, how it's going to translate to the American market.
This 24-year-old has put his heart and soul into Woodsmoke.
It stands for the wildness of Africa, it stands for the beauty. You know, it's like sitting around a campfire in Africa, getting infused with the wood smoke of Africa, the spirit of Africa in your soul.
We now transition from the spirit of South Africa to the spirit of Brainerd, Nebraska. That's where Olli Rass kept his driving record spotless throughout a very noteworthy 50-year postal career. Even giant snowdrifts are no great obstacle for Olli Rass's positive attitude.
Well, if I don't fall out, it ain't too bad, but sometimes I gotta lean out pretty far.
Monday through Saturday, Olli drives about 100 miles a day on gravel roads. And all added up, he says he's driven more than 1.5 million miles during his mail-carrying career. Sherry Hellman is the postmaster here in Brainerd. And when asked to describe her faithful employee, a lot of pretty nice words come to mind.
He's honest, dependable, conscientious. He's just a hard worker.
And Olli learned that from his dad.
He always said, if you're going to do something, do it right, and that's what I tried to do.
Olli doubts that he would have been eligible for the Safe Driving Award without a little help from above.
I believe later on the good Lord he blessed me with health and safe driving. Oh yes, it gets awful full. I don't have room for my guardian angel in there sometimes. I just wonder where he sits.
This 82-year-old is the epitome of dependability. He hasn't used a sick day in 50 years.
I've got about over a year and a month or two sick leave built up, which I never did use.
Olli's biggest challenge some days is the arm extension.
Sometimes the snow gets pretty built up around the boxes and you can't quite reach them, so you got to lean way out there. I fell out of one time. I fell out of the darn window.
But Olli says that in the end,
well, that's all part of the game.
And it's a game that he's mastered over the years. Folks around Butler County could count on Olli for a half-century. And folks in and around Ord have been counting on Walt Smith for a half-century as well. Back in 2010, the longtime voice of KNLV had reached an astonishing milestone. He had called 5,000 games on the radio.
Walt Smith, Shelter Insurance.
By day, Walt Smith keeps Central Nebraska insured. And by night, he keeps them informed.
Now, Longhorns on the offense, down low with the ball.
With a microphone and a scorebook within reach, that's where Walt is at his best.
It's a 3 and a chance or 2 for 2 from out there. I just love every minute I'm out there. Every game's an adventure for me, and I just try to get it out, and I just get excited like I am right now just talking about it. You'll go by the lane, slip up off the glass and in.
Walt absolutely loves the opportunity to get to know the high school athletes. And not just here at Ord. He's also responsible for covering 16 other high schools.
I just love being around those kids. They've been my life since I've been here, beside my own 10 children. But they're kind of like my family, and I want to say good things about them, and that's what I do.
And Walt's fans have taken notice. That's why they took the time to recognize his accomplishment with a surprise celebration. The sign said it all. You've been here for us 5,000 times. Thanks, Walt. Doug Duda was right beside the radio veteran as they broadcast 284 contests in 1 year.
5,000 games, that's amazing.
I'm just thinking of the money we saved. By not having to pay to get in.
Walt's daughter Sue is proud.
I never ever have felt jealous about him knowing something about all those other kids. I guess I just see them all. There aren't 10 kids in my family, there are 10,000 kids in my family.
I'm most thankful for my family and all the friends that I've made all through the years, and thank you very much for this tribute today.
Walt retired from the insurance business in 2013, but he continues to call games on the radio. He's now logged more than 5,100 games, and Walt and his lovely wife Marlene just celebrated their 58th anniversary. And while we're visiting Northeast Nebraska, let's drop by Plainview, the town that Governor Dave Heinemann once dubbed Nebraska's clown capital. The bozo phone rings often around here because for clown lovers, this is the place to be. You'll find a little bit of everything in this incredible collection. They have small clowns, they have big clowns, they have musical clowns, and there's quiet clowns. You name it, they've got it. Clowns made of glass and clowns made of brass. And don't forget,
these are bread dough, and this one right here was made by a friend in Ecuador.
Mary Hamilton is a tour guide.
I love working in here. It's fun.
She sees visitors from all over the United States.
It's amazing the people that come in that will come here especially just to see the museum.
And that's because they are continually taking in donated dolls, and their collection continues to grow. Right now, they are at 4,766. Lee Warnicki is the museum CEO.
There are times when people question, why go to a clown doll museum? But the evidence comes out after they've been through here, and the notes that they put in the guest register, awesome, terrific, wow, stuff like that.
And what clown town would be complete without their own band? The leader of this 55-year-old musical group is Wanda Retzloff. She likes being part of a town known for its clowns.
I think it's kind of a unique thing that, you know, we have all kinds of capitals in this state, and some people may not agree with being the clown capital, but
in the end, there's a whole lot to be proud of. The Clown Doll Museum is open 6 days a week from Memorial Day to Labor Day, and it's open by appointment the rest of the year. Well, Robert Kay was a man on a mission back in March of 2010. He was attempting to climb the 9 highest mountains of the world's 7 continents, and he had 5 of them under his belt when he set out to conquer the tallest peak on the planet, Mount Everest.
One of the things I like to do is be prepared for this trip.
He loads up his backpack with 80 pounds of weight, and then he climbs 300 floors per workout. Robert's been training for this Mount Everest trip for the past 4 years. He says it's important that he's in the best shape of his life.
That's right. It's important. You don't want to die.
More than 200 people have lost their lives on Everest.
Their brain says, wow, we made it, and the body turns off.
The next question is, why?
I've been accused of being an adrenaline junkie. I don't think of myself that way. I like to ride motorcycles and do those sort of things and ski, but I also like to live. I don't want to die doing this stuff.
That's why Robert takes calculated risks.
Everyone has their passions, and I just enjoy climbing. I like being out in the outdoors. The scenery is gorgeous. I enjoy the challenge.
And what an extraordinary challenge it will be to climb more than 29,000 feet above sea level.
You know, my wife and kids are supportive, but they don't understand it. It doesn't appeal to them.
So Robert and his surgically repaired knee are on their own.
I'm 48, and I have an 85-year-old knee and a 29-year-old attitude, I think. Everest is going to be 6 weeks or 7 weeks on the mountain, and yet only a few minutes on the mountain top.
Robert says that only 1 in 3 people that ever attempt Everest make it to the summit.
I want to come home and see my family again, enjoy the rest of my life, not spend it in a crevasse on the side of the mountain.
Robert was not able to summit Mount Everest on this attempt in 2010, but with only Everest remaining on his to-do list, he is still hopeful of one day accomplishing his goal of reaching the 7 highest summits in the world. Well, Olli Lensman was easily one of the youngest runners in the 33rd annual Lincoln Marathon, but she definitely had one of the biggest hearts. This 9-year-old was running to help children with serious illnesses go to camp.
Okay, today we are going to start with math.
It's not surprising that Olli wants to be a teacher someday.
So you're gonna add.
She likes to help people.
I just want kids to go to camp, have fun, and forget about their sickness and ills and shots and all of that.
It's a little bit chilly.
Olli and her dad have been training for the 13-mile half marathon, and they're taking donations as she joins with the nonprofit that was founded by Paul Newman 22 years ago.
We were watching this one show, and a girl was raising money for sick camp, so I thought that'd be nice to let kids go to camp and have fun, even though it costs $2,500.
Olli's camp hole-in-the-wall gesture makes her parents proud.
It's amazing because, you know, if there's one thing that I try to promote within our family, and they all know that volunteering and, you know, doing something for other people should be a part of our everyday life.
I mean, you absolutely can't be more proud. And when we're out there running, I think about it. I mean, it's just awesome. You know, when we're out on a Sunday morning at 7 o'clock in the morning with my 9-year-old,
going for a long 8-mile run, you know, it gets to you. I mean, it's pretty cool stuff.
Big sister Abby is impressed with her little sister's generosity.
Her overall determination, and everybody's really proud of her, and like being her big sister, just, it amazes me.
Feels good for all those who support me and give us money to let kids go to camp. It means a lot.
Allie is one of the sweetest young ladies I've ever met. And speaking of sweet, Clive Gert worked long and hard to become a member of the National Candy Hall of Fame. Clive has had a sweet tooth for quite a while. When you were a kid, did you really enjoy chocolate and candy?
Whenever I got a little bit of extra money, I went and bought caramels.
The Lincoln High School graduate started his candy career in downtown Lincoln when he was a soda jerk at Russell Stover Candies in 1934.
And the extruder drops the centers in.
7 decades later, Clive has never gotten tired of chocolate.
Oh, I generally have some every day.
Clive worked for Russell Stover in Kansas City for 33 years, and he started up Sugar Plum Candies in Lincoln in 1983. Clive says the only way you can continue to make your candy better is to taste it along the way. And being the candy aficionado that I am, I offered to help Clive out testing his turtles. You could spend some time in here just taste testing, huh?
Yes.
These days, Clive doesn't have his fingers in the chocolate much literally, but he sure does figuratively.
I guess I wouldn't know what to do if I wasn't a part of it.
Clive has now cut back to half days in the store, but he still enjoys coming in and sharing his 74 years worth of candy making expertise.
It's a lot of fun on the basis of here's a student.
Throughout the year, Clive teaches professional candy makers at his confectionery school.
A girl gets good enough in time to just take it like this.
There's one main reason Rita Lara came 1,400 miles from Mystic, Connecticut.
Because I really wanted to learn from a master chocolatier, someone who had a lot of experience.
Katrinka Schnabel has worked with Clive for 40 years, and she has no doubt that Clive's passion for work has been his key to longevity.
If Clive weren't working in the candy business and he didn't come to work every day, he would no longer be here.
And just how much longer does the candy man think he'll be working?
Well, probably until I drop.
And when you really get right down to it, when the candy tastes this sweet, who would really want to leave anyway?
Delicious.
Clive the Candy Man Gert passed away in January of 2011 at the age of 94. Clive was involved in the candy business for 77 years of his incredible life. Well, Jeremy Stanislav's first encounter with breast cancer came when he saw his grandma battle the deadly disease. In July of 2009, I attended Jeremy's second annual Beat Breast Cancer Mud Volleyball Tournament in tiny Abbey, Nebraska. It does Jeremy Stanislav's heart good knowing that his Beat Breast Cancer tournament is serving people in need.
Almost everybody knows somebody that's had breast cancer, and it's a great cause that people really get behind. And I knew it would help the event and really raise some money for somebody that really needs some help.
The former Husker football player is proud to say that he doubled the number of teams from last year's tournament. 62 six-member squads were not playing for prize money. They were diving into action for Christy Perotto of Waverly.
They will continue to scan me.
She's a 47-year-old mother of 3 who is battling breast cancer for the second time.
It's just exciting that there are so many people that are so good-hearted, because you don't always see that. And to have somebody especially like Jeremy, you know, I've had many people say we just need more people like that in the world.
Jamie Frericks and Brianna Storbeck took the opportunity to meet the woman they were playing for.
It's great to actually put a face to the cause, to actually meet the person who this is benefiting. It makes it a little more meaningful, and it makes my heart feel good.
I'm a feeler, I'm compassionate, so when I know that I'm helping out somebody who's going through a rough time, I just want to be there, and I want to be a part of it, and I want to know that I'm being as supportive as I can, whether or not I know the person or I don't. It's just, I'm here for them.
Carla Keller of Lincoln was very grateful to be the recipient of Jeremy's first tournament last year.
It's like a 180. It's like, I told other people, it's like I feel like I got my life back.
And now Carla has joined forces with Jeremy to fight cancer and have fun at the same time. In July of 2014, the 7th annual Beat Breast Cancer Mud Volleyball Tournament sold out its 256-team allotment in less than an hour, making it the fastest the tournament was ever sold out. Well, Dean Wright was known as the sign man at St. Elizabeth's Hospital back in 2009. The 78-year-old volunteer took pride in delivering the yard signs that allowed proud parents the opportunity to announce to the world that they had a new addition to their family. Just like clockwork each week, Dean Wright comes rolling into St. Elizabeth's with a fresh batch of baby signs. Dean started volunteering in 1998 when he became semi-retired from the Lincoln construction company he founded 42 years ago.
All right, we'll take some girls and put those up there. I got probably plenty of time to do this. I don't have much to do since I'm pretty much retired, so this is a great job. I enjoy it.
As the volunteer services coordinator, Becky Wright got her father-in-law started as the sign man.
I think he's really enjoying it. I think it surprised him how much he enjoyed it. But I think he saw that he has. Everybody in the hall's always excited to see him come and hi Dean and that kind of thing.
Hi, how are you?
This Crete native has always enjoyed working with his hands, so this job has been a perfect fit.
When I make them, I just take the steak and feed it up through the notch in there.
The hospital provides the materials and Dean supplies the manpower.
Then we just staple it on there.
Dean has gotten pretty proficient in the sign making process. Dean says that over the past 11 years he's made almost 30,000 signs and he's used almost 500,000 staples.
Oh, what a sweetie. I've got a yard sign for your little boy. Congratulations.
In a small way, it feels like, you know, you're doing a part to maybe help as a volunteer up there. That and I'm a small number of the volunteers. There's over 600 of them, and they all have their own thing. They all love what they're doing, and so do I.
Now that is a volunteer extraordinaire at St. E's in Lincoln. Well, Chris Schleich is a trash artist who describes her artwork as random, finding potential in everything from worn-out fire extinguishers to remnants of roofing tar paper.
Great find, but there's more.
It's not often you find someone looking for art supplies in a dumpster. But there aren't many artists that are as resourceful as Chris Schleich.
That'll work.
This Crete native has been creative her whole life.
These are great.
But she began turning trash into treasure about 9 years ago when she and her husband built a new home in southeast Lincoln. These walls became her blank canvas.
Paintings, we filled it up with who I am and what I love, and that's art.
Signs of Chris's unlimited creativity are everywhere.
I wanted to build it who I am, what I love to do, and this is it. It's creative and it's fun and it's my passion.
So having a fire pole to get downstairs is nice, but in a house filled with options and creativity, it's also nice to have a slide as well. And once you're safely downstairs, Chris's workroom is filled with opportunities.
This is one of my favorites. This is part of the process I like. My dad and I went out to a junkyard and cut seat belts out of cars, and I sewed them together, and they're actually GM, and call them, right now they're called bailout belts.
The key for this 49-year-old is her never-ending artistic vision.
I see art everywhere.
And for this former special education teacher, the key word is potential.
I see it in people. I see it in things. It's like what it could be, not what it is. There's still the found objects, the scrapings from the floor are in that. When I see junk, it's like, oh, what can I make out of that? What could that be? What can I turn it into? And it's a flower.
Further evidence that one woman's trash is another woman's treasure. Well, Robert Richardson says if he could, he would buy wind. That's because Robert is addicted to the wind. And when the gusts reach at least 20 miles an hour, you can find Robert at the lake.
Right now it's blowing about 22 miles per hour.
When you're hanging out with windsurfers, the topic of conversation usually centers around one particular topic.
We got maximum speed, 30.1 miles an hour maximum speed.
Most people aren't that thrilled with wind gusts of 40 miles an hour, but for these guys, the windier the better.
When you get addicted to the wind, basically you find yourself checking the weather ahead of time a day, a week. So when's the next time it's going to be windy? You're just looking for that time.
When the trees are blowing outside, it's hard for Robert to concentrate on his computer consulting business.
When you're at work, you got your wind up on your computer screen, you're looking at it, it's getting a little windier and windier. You're like, should I leave work or go windsurfing, or should I stay working?
Guess what usually happens?
And that wind will just draw you out of the work and you're on the lake before you know it.
If they aren't careful, their addiction to the wind can affect a sailboarder's priorities in life.
I don't care, I gotta go windsurfing, you know? Oh, you're getting married, too bad, I'm windsurfing. Oh, it's your birthday, well have a good one, I'm windsurfing.
Robert's relationship with nature's invisible force started 17 years ago.
I actually checked out a book from the library on how to windsurf.
And it was the degree of difficulty that kept him coming back for more.
If you've ever done a sport or anything that's challenged you where you're like, it's not that easy to do, but yeah, you know you can do it, and you want to do it, you see other people doing it, and you're like, I can do that. It is a little hard to learn at first. It's a challenge, and if you're up for a challenge, windsurfing is it.
Someday, I think I might just need to challenge myself with a little windsurfing. Tanner and Taylor Seidel were inseparable growing up. These artistic Lincoln twins did everything together.
We got the case from Journeys, and we didn't really know what to do on it. Then we decided to incorporate everything that was on the shoe on the case.
When Tanner and Taylor Seidel were coming up with their design for the legendary Chuck Taylor shoe, they included a tribute to their railroading father, John.
We thought this caboose would be clever because there's no end to a legend, and that's the last train car. And then Chuck's on a rusty side of a train would be really cool.
They were notified of their win via email.
And when I heard the news, I couldn't believe it. Pretty exciting.
Together, Tanner and Taylor go by the family nickname of TNT, and it's appropriate because their work is dynamite. And fortunately, they enjoy being twins.
I really like it. We do everything together. And it's really cool to have somebody that likes the exact same things as you do. Most people have friends their same age, but you know, we're brothers and we're the same age, and so it's just like having a friend that lives with you.
And as for what they have in common, well, that's easy.
Everything. Same sports, style, colors, cars, shoes, the list goes on.
The twins make a pretty impressive Pictionary team when this artistic family competes against one another, but there's much more to TNT than just graphic design. These guys also know how to bust a move.
We got into it around 5th grade, and then ever since we've been practicing.
And all that practice has paid off. The sophomores-to-be recently brought home the top prize at the Lincoln Northeast High School Talent Show. And how'd that feel?
Real good, real fresh.
Well, that'll do it for this 20th edition of the Best of Lance's Journal. I'm Lance Schwartz. Thanks for joining us, everybody. So long.